To do it again. Beep boop. It's time for the robot. Olleh. This is not the first time he has played it this summer, which is miraculous for me to say those words. But a lot of fun actually in this next champ select. And Piglet, a player that has dominated on so many different ADs. You think about Piglet, you think of, you know, the Vayne, a really classic pick for him. But even stuff like the Caitlyn, like the Cogborn we saw in last game. Even Xayah, a champion that he can get aggressive on an outplay, was also available. So Kennen is not a pick I would instantly associate with Piglet.
It's interesting because they were talking about it on the desk where Piglet's kind of becoming the shot caller, the voice. Listen to this guy. If he's on Kennen and he ulties and gets a speed in from the Karma and maybe just puts on the Turtle Shell, uses the E Lightning Rush for extra resistances, then everybody kind of has to follow up at that point. So Piglet might be looking for some playmaking here.
Maybe. It's very different to Siva, which was the pick you used to let your teammates know what was happening. Instead, it'll flash ult in and then hope the team follows him. Well, curious to see what CL have lined up here, but have to ask before we get into the game. We've seen so many playmaking supports rise up in the ranks. We've seen Bard banned, we've seen Thresh banned, we've seen Rakan also received a ban in game #1. What is Blitzcrank doing back in the metagame, Zirene?
I originally thought that Doran's Shield was an abomination of balance, but then when I realized that these playmaking supports could come back, I was okay with it, because this is really cool. I think like being able to pick a support like that and be able to shine as that role that's been kind of like relegated to being a shield bot for a while, or somebody who picks people out with like a root. These are the cool plays. These are what support players live for, man.
Blitzcrank really what comes to mind when you think of playmaking?
Yes!
All right, well, we'll see what Olleh can do with the pick then. It's going to have his round 2 one. I believe the Xayah Blitzcrank lane did not go as well the first time around, so I'll see if Caitlyn Blitzcrank's any better.
Get a trap on top of where he pulls to. I think it's great. You can even pull people over traps. Why not?
You can also invade. We'll see if IMT up for that here. Olleh, no skills learned just yet, but going to zoom out in the Piltover custom skin and look for a innocent bystander. Could be GoldenGlue. Does have to keep the mouse nice and warm, because if he sees a Blitzcrank, he's going to want to leave very, very soon.
30 seconds until
Olleh's just dancing though. Certainly a fun-loving person. Always. I'm actually curious to see what he thinks about Blitzcrank, because he had some great words about Misfortune last split when that was getting played more often. But certainly, he's someone that has a lot of fun playing, clearly integrated well into this team, and has built incredible synergy with Cody.
Yeah, Olleh has actually been a player that, he's multilingual. He speaks 3 languages plus, and I feel like Olleh is just kind of like, when they picked him up as a support player, they were like, this guy is an investment for us. Came over, was a little jet lagged back in spring, took him a while to just kind of get his champion pool up to date. And now the meta's shifted a little bit towards that style that he likes. He's not somebody who just sits around. He looks for the Morgana bindings. He looks for the picks with the Blitzcrank hook. So now really in his avenue, right in his wheelhouse in terms of what you want to be playing.
Well, I like that ward by Immortals onto the Raptors, but...
Oh, wait, I don't think they got spotted here. I think you see Olleh walking around. Is he going to go for the red buff pull? I don't know.
No, just like he's sneaking down towards the bottom side. Gets a ward on the red. That was what he was waiting there for.
No.
So a bit of extra vision there. But no disruption of the jungle path. Olleh going to eat a shuriken. As Piglet and Matt have already got the lane pushing. First hook lands! Oh my goodness, just went for it.
And Olleh's going to have to walk all the way around, so I don't even know if that's worth it at the end of the day. He's getting zoned from experience.
Message received, though. I think Olleh will be happy with that trade. Does have Thunderlords also, so we'll see if that we can have any fun with that. Olleh with Ignite, looking to get aggressive perhaps, but Cody, again, waiting for his support to return. Matt and Piglet already with the early pushes. We'll look to top lane now. Certainly a much more aggressive lane here, Jarvan versus Fiora.
Yeah, gets to be a bit of a big bruiser early, and you can see Flame taking Q and then W for the slow. Didn't go for the E to try and go straight through. Just wants to shove and wants to be able to sustain against that damage from the Fiora. But once again, Doran's Shield has really put her in a beastly position as a top laner.
Another great hook by Olleh onto Matt. Level 2 was there for Cody, but the trap didn't quite connect as ReignOver has actually moved towards the top side of the map. Flame could be in trouble. Vital procs, there's a flash out as ReignOver flashing for the next slow. Vital number 2 is up. There's 3. Lourlo looking for the first button. He's going to grab it.
Lourlo, ReignOver. The cannon minion had him in the sights.
Betrayal, and now Matt's going to flash out of the way. Olleh, yet another hook. Matt's going to go down. Cody Sun almost messed that up, but does manage to secure the kill as Piglet trying to make it happen. Olleh flashing back in, looks for the power fist, but a little too eager on that one.
Oh, backs up immediately. Piglet able to dodge that one, but Matt not as lucky. Olleh, I think he's 3 for 3 for hooks right now.
I have not seen him miss one, at least on camera, so we'll have to track those as
the ones that
continues. Certainly are, as Piglet.
Yeah, don't even throw it. Don't even throw it.
Just spinning around, zoning Piglet off the wave. Piglet knows he can't really safely step up here. All right, so here's ReignOver. Does start things off well, trying to get first blood, but I think he got betrayed by the minion wave.
Yeah, he did. Basically, they're taking full aggro because it hasn't crashed yet. And then, interesting from Lourlo to actually go for the W there for the final kill. Maybe he could have killed just from going for the vital, but decided to have no return. And another great one. Heal even comes out too. They get a lot there. 3 summoner spells for 2, or 3 technically counting Xmithie's.
Yep, Piglet also jumped there. Looks like he stepped on a trap. Cody Sun off to a little CS lead. We'll see if that grows as the lane continues. Xmithie on his red buff though, going to clear that one out, and already had one successful gank. Might be looking top.
Exactly, and I feel like in the bottom side of the map now, this is going to become a big pain point for TL because now Olleh just has to watch Matt. Every time he wants to go for a hook, you know he doesn't have flash. They're pretty much guaranteed to land for the most part. He's got his aim on point.
You see Piglet definitely kind of in for the long haul now with a Colt as his next item picked up. Should help him get through the lane a little easier with the Doran shield next to it, but not going to be getting aggressive anytime soon. Cody Sun already back, has his pickaxe and a dagger, so should be building nice and aggressively, already 10 CS ahead. Xmithie just going to let all the Raptors die. Pops them all down after drinking his brew, and now off to farm.
And that means this bottom lane is in a pretty disgusting position for Immortals, where you can keep throwing hooks, go after Matt every time with Olleh. Cody Sun now gets to push faster, gets to trade heavier, and so even I feel like Cody Sun could be left in a 2v1 situation until level 6. So Olleh does get a chance to roam here, but I feel like the top lane is kind of where you want to be as Team Liquid right now. Sure, you might want to tilt the bottom lane back in your favor, but like you said, they're in it for the long haul with the Cull. You're down in combat stats. It could be a bad position to go. But top lane, you just got your Fiora a little bit online, has the Tiamat to shove, and I feel like that's really where you want to put your pressure, is that top lane, and unlock Lourlo, who's on a split pusher.
Well, Olleh and Xmithie were actually doing a lot of adventuring together, but the wave is finally moving back towards the bot turret, so looks like Olleh will return. Xmithie does get some wards over the back. Good shockwave there from Pobelter as the Thunderlords procs. Just a bit of harassment there down onto GoldenGlue.
Pushing him back. They get some damage. Interesting, they would go for that. Foresees that he doesn't need it in the short future.
Nothing else happening just yet. Already has that lost chapter. So with a CS lead, Pobelter's feeling very comfy in that lane. As Olleh looks for the hook, misses one finally. Piglet able to lightning rush out of the way.
Went for Piglet there too. Matt was able to speed himself away. I want to watch what Olleh's doing in terms of he's standing near traps and trying to pull over them. Trying to be a little cheeky. Like I said, top lane, that might be where it is. They know Orianna doesn't have ultimate, so even if she joined,
excellent timing here
advantage.
From Xmithie though, as GoldenGlue does blast plant up to the top lane. Flame able to go back in. Lourlo with a vital proc speeds his way out though, and now Flame is going to last hit his creep. Should get almost all of them. Jarvan IV is going to help him out. This is a couple there, but barely any problems as again. Xmithie, right place, right time, just making sure no dive happens, and Pobelter gets the wave pushing back towards mid.
Yep, like how he disappears into the bottom fog of war because Ahri went to the top side. So even if he doesn't accomplish anything or like picks up honey fruit, he's still providing pressure on bot. Look at that.
Oh, root land in the trap, not quite there, Matt. Burning low with the igniters. Cody Sun east towards him, headshot there, but needs a little more. Shield is good. Cody Sun still needs a bit more going, but here's Pobelter going to finish it up. The Peacemaker snipes Matt though.
And Cody Sun, another kill. I mean, I feel like this is repeating last game a little bit. 2-0 for Cody Sun. Had another kill at this point in the game, but 7 minutes and 30 seconds to be that far ahead as a Caitlyn, that's a rough lane.
And look,
PL.
things kind of broke their way in game 1 in some ways, despite the good placement to give Cody that earlier. This time, Immortals just forging this lead all on their own. And I mean, Karma's a super good lane presence champion, and Kennen's fine in 2v2, but Caitlyn is such an impressive laner and good when she gets going. It just feels like things just working out better, and maybe a little too far forward here.
Yeah, and it looks like he just ran straight through. They were thinking the minions kept them safe as they were pushing up, but yeah, Pobelter was already roaming, and then it would have been frozen on them if they didn't go for it. Ugh. Picked up there at the end.
Yep, Matt goes down. Pobelter gets blue, and everything's still going the way of Immortals in the early game. 1,000 gold ahead with the kill lead up 2 over TL. So this doesn't feel like there's too much else they can get going. Lourlo doing okay. 5 CS ahead of Flame, and with that early kill, Fiora can get things going. ReignOver though, level 6. We'll see if he can maybe influence the side lane also. As other than that, I mean, Pobelter's had pressure. Bot lane is certainly winning here for Immortals as well. And maybe the first Drake is actually going to get started up. Xmithie going to waddle into the pit, get some wards back down, but no need to start the Cloud Drake just yet. Certainly ones that teams take a little longer to try and get.
Yeah, they don't really have to prioritize it. Which is why something like Pobelter using the Shockwave just to try and chunk out GoldenGlue and then go top isn't really rewarded for the other side.
Olleh back on the roam though. Not level 6 just yet, but doesn't need much more than his Q. Zooming through, going to get some vision down. And again, I do like that Olleh and Xmithie are doing a really good job sticking together, going for these roams and just getting vision down. I mean, Cody's already winning, but all this vision down the bottom side is going to make it even safer for him to just farm up to that point where he's unstoppable.
Yeah, and I like that point a lot because they are just making sure that he's safe here. Flame, you fake the DC.
Chilling out.
The battle against the wall.
Yeah, not bad positioning, but Lourlo trying to abuse some of the early edges here, but Flame played it nicely. Just leading the way, push back towards him, and now Piglet actually is going to leave his lane. I
think he's checking for wards. He's going to check this bush here because you usually see a ward get placed down. Yep.
Does get one, but still great wards for Immortals. Piglet tracked the entire time, moving through his own jungle. In fact, Pobelter is down here on top of a ward.
Spotted though, yeah.
Sadly for them, but might just try and clear out the ward that they know Piglet just put down. And yeah, that pink ward does not last very long.
No, not at all. And then they have damage on that bottom turret. Could be a 4, possibly 5-man collapse if they want it to be, but that turret has taken so much damage. And like we said earlier, like being able to play these playmaking supports ends up in these kills. And like because Doran's shield has so much regen on it, the way to actually kill people bottom lane isn't to whittle them down, it's to all in. So things like Blitzcrank, also another reason that they're meta now.
Ooh. Nice attempt there from Olleh. Charm onto Pobelter to GoldenGlue. Oh, no, that's the kill. ReignOver finally teaming up with his mid laner.
Yeah, we talked about at the start that jungle mid synergy is something that actually got them a lot of advantages previously in the sets that they won. And they struggled against Envy, but both these teams did. Flame, though, trading heavily with Lourlo.
Actually kind of wins the early part of that trade. Lourlo not able to grab a second vital. But Flame knows he has to play back. ReignOver even up to this top side as well.
And GoldenGlue. This is a race to get that first turret. ReignOver is going to start coming towards the top side.
Yep. Good to get a face check. Charm lands in there. GoldenGlue no ultimate. Maybe not able to chase too far forward.
And that top turret, this will be great for TL if they can get this onto Lourlo and ReignOver. 2 big carries for them. And now they're back and up in gold. And if they can pick that bottom turret and not have something go back over to Immortals, then they're in really good shape.
Again, just feels like TL saying, you know what, bot lane's not gone too well, so let's play to our strong side of the map.
Exactly. Because Lourlo was able to get that early kill and not completely snowball just yet. Ooh, nice. They can play to their assassins and start freeing up their GoldenGlue and their Lourlo to just go all across the map.
Well, certainly like pairing up there. Pobelter, despite having a cleanse, finally falls to a nicely placed charm by Ahri. Piglet going to sweep away a ward. Matt reveals that one. And continue landing down here. Piglet's going to try and get whatever CS he can. Early Zircon up again, but makes a lot of sense on a pick like Kennen.
Yep. They're going to collapse bottom, but they know this is coming because they saw that the Scryer's Bloom was used.
Oh, the flash hook forces the flash on Piglet.
Yeah, he was in kind of a bad position where he's up against the wall and he has no way to juke. But they're trying to force this turret down. I don't think they'll get it here.
No, Matt able to clean the way out pretty quickly as Piglet grabs as many CS as he can. Olleh finds a wall. Going to sweep that one out and get Soul Brush control right now.
Well, it's important that you sweep that out because if you go for this turret, TP could come behind you and you have this Ravenous Hydra top laner that's ahead immediately on top of your team. So making sure that they're able to pick that one up. Cody Sun needs one more hit.
Yep, and that's enough. There's the turret down. Gold over to Immortals. And even the gold right back up here in this game. Fiora still hard shoving into the top side, so Lourlo actually got a pretty decent lead after getting that gold.
And that's kind of the gambit that they took in TL's Champion Select was the Kennen. They're going to think it's top lane. They pick the Jarvan, we'll pick the Fiora because they aren't going to ban it in the second phase and didn't want to, kind of cover that option. And they're able to pick it in. So a lot of this Champion Select is focused around Lourlo having a good game, and the game has started to go that way as well. So it's really Lourlo's chance to take over a game.
We'll see if Flame can contribute in any sort of fight here, because Jarvan still does well in combination with the rest of Immortals' ultimates, and Cody Sun going to be the big beneficiary of any well-constructed team fight, because his Infinity Edge is now finished, as Olleh looking for another hook target, but ReignOver able to spot him out. Olleh instead just going to use his support item charges and Give some gold over to Pobelter.
Oh, they spot Cody Sun roaming through the jungle, looking for a rotation there. So they're trying to put the Caitlyn in the top side of the map up against the top laner. You can see Piglet is now going to start roaming towards the top side with Matt to try and answer that.
Yeah, Lourlo 1v3 right now, but Olleh's going to zoom in and try and get a kill.
He's
Matt's
got
also
that
hit,
reinforcements, but I don't know if it's going to be fast
Back
enough.
to the bait, Flame already leaves him, but Lourlo gets out. The ulti immediately burners. That's the kill for Piglet. Olleh goes down in a flash.
Yeah, the ultimate from Flame, it's easy to just queue out of that as Fiora, and Lourlo saves it for that moment. And then they just turn right onto Olleh.
Well, not working out there. Cody Sun will just say, okay, time to pick up farm, but doesn't exactly have an outer turret that's safe to farm at. So TL going to move pressure back here and at least get wards down deep into this jungle. It feels like Pobelter right now is just fighting the minion waves. GoldenGlue able to push them out. Now TL take control of this top side and start the Rift Herald.
Yep, really like that from them because they had so many people on top side. Lourlo just queues out, goes right in, and Matt hid in the brush, and they also had Piglet there. And so this was a play that the Scrying Orb helped them so much there. We'll see if Xmithie does anything. No, it doesn't go for it. But, yeah, the Scryer's Bloom, that GoldenGlue hit that was right there in the right-hand corner where the screen was a second ago, that was huge because they saw Cody Sun rotating top. That should have been called where this is not as easy of a play as they might think because it had been sniffed out.
Yeah, and it feels like Immortals again, without things kind of snowballing their way, we'll see if they can kind of claw their way out of a much closer game as the goal is still dead even here, 15 minutes in. Olleh is throwing out some vision.
Blast cone onto him. I like how he hasn't typed the wards. Okay.
Matt just chills out. Does have a pink ward there, so Olleh is going to play it a little safer. Going to move back to the blitz in towards Piglet. Space finally opened up for Immortals to seed yet another turret. I mean, they do want to play around this Caitlyn where possible.
Yeah, exactly. But bottom side, you want that Fiora to have as much space as possible. Cody Sun, checking his traps real quickly. 4 points in Tilt over Peacemaker, 3 in trap. So instead of going for the 5th point at level 9, decided 4 points in Q is fine. Time to get the trap because it's mid-game, turret's already taken. You want that rank 5 trap as soon as possible, so he'll have that at level 12.
Well, Cody again going to keep sieging. Did have protection from Xmithie. And good wards here covering from Immortals, although it can't extend too far forward. No extra pot shots being dealt onto the turret. ReignOver and Matt now roaming back together. Going to start clearing out all division that Immortals were setting up. And Lourlo's actually mid lane right now, covering for GoldenGlue.
Give him all the farm. Make sure that he's good to go. Where are they going to put this Rift Herald, though? Right there.
Yep, Zirene over channeling just behind the lane.
People have learned about how much it does. It'll actually kill this turret from that point. You don't have to auto it anymore, and it'll just go down here.
Yep, GoldenGlue up, thanks turret shot, but no need to. And there's that turret taken very clean there from Team Liquid.
Yeah, they don't get too much off of that, though. They get that turret, but not much more.
Yeah.
I actually don't think they get any local gold from it either.
That's interesting.
I think they missed local gold, yeah.
Well, maybe a little too far out of it. Though at least taking the structure off the map, so some gold over to TL. They'll happily take the turret lead for now.
Everybody just got 100 there, so I don't think there was local gold on top of that.
It's sad days. Could be ReignOver's gold to get, surely.
Yeah, you would hope so because he put it down.
Well, not the case. Instead, there's all sadness here. It's Charm misses from GoldenGlue, burns the ulti charge, still trying to dance around. Pobelter's like, yeah, don't do that again. Chunks him down.
Calm down.
Saves the ultimate. GoldenGlue is going to hold on to his flash as a result.
Might need it here in a second.
Olleh speeding back in. Going to aim. Oh, flashes in for it. Forcing it out. Ace in the hole, also burnt by Cody.
Definitely needed it in a second. The Olleh being incredibly aggressive there because they knew that the Spirit Rush was down. Now they're going to try to siege and get this turret back.
Pobelter actually has ultimate here. Olleh still threatening with a hook just now, so should be a pretty nice siege setup here. Pobelter can put the ball down if he feels like it, but TL answer well, respond with 3 in mid, and clear those minion waves out nice and quickly.
Yeah, and we got confirmation on it. There was no local gold obtained by Team Liquid. They weren't close enough. Nobody stood close enough. You just need a single person to do it, and then you actually pick up a lot from those outer turrets. So that's why the gold lead, despite it being 1 turret to 2, Immortals are only about 300 down.
No, not really much of a lead at this point. Again, the theme of the early game continuing much more even than game number 1, which is good news for Liquid, especially given that Lourlo is kind of the person they're putting all their power into.
Yeah, for TL, it's Lourlo. On the opposite side, for Cody Sun, though, it's him on the Immortals team. So they're trying to knock down this turret. May get it here.
Yeah, Lourlo's power starting to get a little out of control for Flame, at least purely in the 1v1. Lourlo does stop, though.
That's a lot of respect to make sure that he can back off in time. Piglet was even running interference for him to make sure nobody was walking down here.
And now they might even turn it back around for something. Pobelter slowed by Matt as the Empower Q lands. ReignOver stalking prey, looking to wrap around this left-hand side of the mid lane, but Olleh there again.
Yeah, just get back to pushing down the bottom side of the map and getting this turret. That's the next thing for Team Liquid here, is just push Lourlo up, get this turret. ReignOver has inside track. They see them coming. He might be able to get a combo on it.
ReignOver actually spots Xmithie, so defending their split pusher as best they can. One more auto left there for Lourlo.
Yeah,
they can get it as the next wave comes.
And they have GoldenGlue on the top side, keeping Cody Sun busy. So they're just trading farm here.
GoldenGlue decides to step on a trap.
Decides to.
Cody Sun makes him pay, but
Flame just making sure the minions don't get towards the turret so he can't actually hold it. And that's one of the beauties of having a bruiser that can build a little bit more HP early on, is that you get to tank those minions and freeze the wave. So at the highest levels, a lot of people will stand in front of it and say, well, you really have to try and contest me here. And if he had contested, Xmithie was right there to try and back up Flame.
yeah, and there certainly is a world where Lourlo's taking over a game, but gonna need a few more items to go, and actually going for Trinity Force as the next one there for Fiora. I don't think I've seen that one before. Unless he's going purely off the deep end with a nice Spawn Gauntlet. I'm pretty sure that's Fast Force. Thoughts, Zirene?
I'm formulating them.
All right, that's fine. We'll watch IMT siege up the mid lane.
It's good CDR. It's good damage. And if he doesn't really want to rely on a Black Cleaver, because nobody's really going to build too much armor, but still feel like it could be worth it. But after the Black Cleaver nerfs, it might be good.
Well, turret goes down. Lourlo going to grab a trade, though. Immortals to get the mid outer, but TL stay up in turret, still by 1.
And this is just a big dueling build as well for Lourlo if he does go for it. But it's going to be pretty disgusting when he gets those, when he gets his third item, which I assume would be Death's Dance if he's looking for just the 1v1 split push.
Does feel like at some point, again, Fiora will just take over any side lane, given enough time and items. And Flame, it's already been struggling a decent amount, down about 30 CS in the matchup, just 1v1. Sure, Pobelter does have a CS lead in his own lane, so that's good news for him. And I think Immortals just kind of realized that we can't let this Fiora keep getting ahead. Yes, we need Cody to get farm, but we kind of need to push the pressure a little more.
And it becomes such a delicate dance as well, because if you can get pressure on him, on Lourlo, and push him off, you're losing pressure elsewhere on the map. And now that Baron's up and Lourlo's on the bottom side of the map, it becomes this push and pull between. No Drakes have been taking this game because everybody's respecting that push and pull, that seesaw, that back and forth. And what I really think is interesting here about that bottom lane is the Jarvan is almost never going to be able to duel the Fiora. He's almost purely a teamfight bruiser / engage. So as long as Lourlo keeps the Jarvan away and doesn't allow teamfights to happen, they don't have the Jarvan Orianna combo. You're kind of keeping that one piece out of it. So it's really good. It's one of the beauties, one of the great things about picking a Fiora, right? You pick it into somebody who wants to be a team fighter, like Rumble, etc. Stop him from joining the team fight. And if he does, you lose his turret.
Yep.
Which is what this build is going to be better at too. Trinity Force is better at taking turrets. So if that's what he's going for, definitely better than the Black Cleaver.
I mean, he'll certainly be committing hard to a side lane as he still sticks down bottom. Drake over to Immortals, though. They'll finally get our first Drake at just under 22 minutes. Certainly much slower going. No double Infernal that they had to snowball the last game here.
This is interesting. TL kind of have the wraparound.
Needs to commit, though, and Lourlo is pulling off.
Yeah, this is a 4-man collapse.
Oh, flash hook.
What?
This is GoldenGlue as he dashes out of the way.
Lourlo's here, though.
Yeah, Olleh burnt the flash and GoldenGlue look for a charm. Pobelter going to dodge it, but needs to dodge the rest of it. Matt does get the slowdown. Here comes Flame, finally TPing into some action, but no one there to pick off Flame. Over looking for someone. Matt eats a trap, but no commitment there for Immortals. He's going to go back and see just mid-outer turret, actually.
But you got to be careful here. Xmithie flanking around, could be looking for something.
Ooh, but this is...
I love that position, though. Getting the barrel from the side, but look at that!
Pobelter, another good ulti, but no one's dead just yet. Riposte from Lourlo saved most of the damage, and Immortals use all their ultimates. They're just trying to get a turret at this point.
They're chunking them out, possibly getting a turret there, but Lourlo does have teleport. I feel like he doesn't go for a TP play, though. But I like that from Xmithie. That angle on the cast to knock the team in instead of the one from the front, the unexpected angle. Really good.
Yeah, instead, the front line stepped a little too far forward for the play-in. No one was knocked back into the team. Still, the attempt looks nice there from Immortals, but done a lot of cooldowns here with Baron available. ReignOver pops a control ward into the pit.
Now, I don't think you actually do the Baron as TL just yet, because Lourlo has teleport advantage over Flame, and he completed the Trinity Force, so he's going to push turrets faster.
Oh, Xmithie could be caught here. If they get him, maybe they think about it differently, but Xmithie pretty tanky, able to get out from under the assault. Oh, Matt wanted one more hit on the wall, but now threatened by Olleh and the Blitzcrank.
Oh,
back up, great hook on a ReignOver, finally lands more with Piglet, flicking off to the side as that's Olleh going to go down. Piglet dabs that kill as Lourlo TP's into the action. And now Cody Sun, he's the next target. No flash here for the Caitlyn, flash Jarvan IV, GoldenGlue's going to secure it. ReignOver able to grab the next kill, and TL pick up 2 clean ones.
Yeah, and they'll have the inside track on mid. Lourlo will be able to clear this out, and then they might get some turret damage here. And it doesn't look like they're thinking about the Baron just yet.
No, able to take some structure, still pretty early into the game. Lourlo takes the turret hit, but Piglet working on that turret. Trinity Force will make short work of it if they can get there, but Flame looking to initiate, threatens the ultimate onto Piglet.
They both have flash though, so it would be a flash now to get an engage later on. So doesn't feel like it was worth it, doesn't feel like he may have had the follow-up there. That fight was actually really well played from TL, where the hook came out from Olleh onto ReignOver, but then Piglet flanked onto Cody Sun, and Cody Sun really couldn't do much there, but they have Piglet get a flash, get out, and trading the flash for the Cataclysm cooldown. Definitely worth it for IMT.
Yeah, good sticking it out there from Flame, just making sure he does burn that cooldown. That would have threatened Kennen a lot better next time around.
Yeah, make sure that he doesn't have that to get out, and you could possibly Orianna guarantee the shockwave on him.
They're going to clear out the control. What Immortals now with control of the Baron area, but watch this play again. Olleh with a great hook, but
he's charmed, but then he just stands still afterwards, and then yeah, the exhaust onto Cody Sun and Piglet charging in from the side really put a lot of pressure on him. And Cody Sun had to use the flash and the heal earlier to kind of get out of Piglet's stun. Then he eats the charm there, but Immortals are going to fire back with his top turret and pick that one up for themselves. The world's still super close between these two teams.
Yeah, Immortals able to keep up on the map despite all the side lane pressure from TL. Rapid fire cannon done for Cody, with only that static shift to come to really start taking over this mid to late game. Going to help their siege also, so Immortals doing well to get a turret there and keep that gold nice and even. Olleh looking again. No flash just yet, so doesn't commit it. Even has a tier ticking away, actually. I just noticed that from Olleh. Wanted to get that passive working into overdrive.
Yeah, he's had it for a bit. He had a...
I believe. You know what, Zirene? I bet he has. Because there's no other reason to get it otherwise.
Yeah, he had a Sapphire Crystal for pretty much like his second back or something like that. So he's been sitting on it for a while, but it charges so slowly as Blitzcrank.
All right, we have different problems. Olleh's Crystal, going to take a while to charge, but Lourlo is sort of officially taken over the 1v1. Just ignores Flame there for the most part. Takes down that turret.
It's interesting as well because he's gone for a Warden's Mail. Could be going for the Frozen Heart or the Randuin's, but it's a less damage-oriented build after the Trinity Force. So this is one that's like, I'm going to split push and deal a lot of damage to turrets, but I want to be able to turret dive a little bit better. But I feel like Death's Dance is still a really, really good item for her.
Well, might see it soon-ish. We'll see exactly what Lourlo wants to do with his build, but now all this pressure for TL means that they can just play around Baron, and Immortals kind of think, all right, maybe we have to force something here. In fact, GoldenGlue is going to be the target. He's got a Banshees, but Olleh almost comes up with the goods, getting the ultimate to proc the Banshees off, and Immortals just have to stop Baron.
Yeah, they're also going to have their teleport sooner, but Lourlo going to work on the bottom side. They don't give a damn about it just yet. They want that turret.
Flame is actually mid lane trying to clear the way, so they might be trading here. As Lourlo does get the bottom inhibitor turret. He's going to take the inhib down as well, but the Baron looking to go over to Immortals.
Not close enough.
Yep. Good snipe from Xmithie, secures it, but now ReignOver going to lead back and onto the Blitzcrank. Piglet here, looking to get the chain stuns happening. Does land one, but Olleh flashes over the wall. Pobelter trying to get out of the way as the shockwave hits only Matt. Ace in the hole's going to blow this. Pobelter does get the deletion, but Lourlo's still going.
Yeah. Lourlo, don't know if he'll get this turret though. The Baron-empowered recalls come through, making that Trinity Force do some work, but there goes the Baron buff.
And here comes Olleh, looking to line it up. Lourlo flashes, Olleh still speeding forward. Lourlo through the turret, riposte is good, does get the stun onto Flame. Ace in the hole, not enough, and now Xmithie gonna make it happen. Pobelter shuts it all down. Lourlo can't quite get out.
And that's the worst case scenario for TL2. The Baron buff goes over to Immortals, the bottom inhibitor goes down, but now there's a Baron buffed up minion wave with 5 members of IMT ready to push down mid. They'll be able to get this turret. They may be able to answer with their own inhibitor, which wouldn't have happened if there hadn't have been that greed for that Nexus turret that Lourlo didn't even get.
Yeah, and GoldenGlue, he's top lane, so he's very late to respond to this push by IMT. This inhibitor turret's going to fall down. Olleh threatening with the hook. Pobelter puts the ball on top of him, and that's going to be a trade. In fact, maybe
they know he doesn't
go
have
back into the Piglet. Shockwave lands in. He's dead. Immortals might keep going.
They know he doesn't have it from the last time the Flame did that. They're going to try to go for these. They have the Baron-powered minion.
All right, they're going to try and end the game before it gets too out of hand, but GoldenGlue here, finally back to defend. Piglet 30 seconds, Lourlo 2 away. And IMT will play it safe and back away from the base.
Yeah, but they pick up another kill for their troubles there. And that Baron call was really good from IMT, but they were handed a lot from Lourlo there, who we talked about he has the opportunity to carry a game now and got a little too over-aggressive on that top side.
Break over to IMT, they'll collect quite a lot as far as total Lavenders go, but we'll watch this Baron exchange once again.
Yeah, ReignOver not allowed to really get in the pit. Then Olleh gets the flash away. And Pobelter's kind of baiting them in. He has flash, so he can get out at any time, but he just wants another kill. Channels the recall in their faces and gets out. Doesn't have to blow the flash either to do so.
Nope, successful bait certainly for Pobelter, who now has a death cap as that third item, so a very powerful Orianna. And there's 3-item Caitlyn now online, so Duracell build ready to go, energized everywhere.
Yeah, I like that. Gives him a lot of range, and the fact that the static shiv can crit as well. You get the long range from the rapid fire, and you get the extra damage of static shiv. So you end up with kind of the best parts of both. And also the rapid fire cannon energizes your Warlord's Bloodlust and your static shiv 25% faster. So it's a really good build. And it's funny because people just changed to it even when like Runaan's Hurricane hadn't been nerfed a little. They're like, oh, okay, I guess it's still good. And they changed it to like other champions are now doing this build, even though they never had a Runaan's Hurricane headshot interaction.
Hey, it's like, hey, maybe this is good. It's like, yeah, this seems pretty good.
It's always interesting how if something gets nerfed, people find out what a better build was, and it was even better than what a previous one was.
Yeah, well, IMT actually still just demolishing turrets. This is really the place you don't want to be versus Caitlyn Orianna. 3 items on both the carries. TL don't really have a pure tank at all.
Yep. And Cody Sun has that level 5 trap, able to just siege up, and they have that Baron buffed up cannon minion. He's going to try to do some work here. See if he gets those last shots, and they just power up Cody Sun, who walks up, pops him into the turret, and Lourlo, top lane all by his lonesome.
I mean, back to his mission, right? They said, hey, be on a side with us. ReignOver gets hooked by Olleh. He's going to get out of there. Popping the ultimate. Matt now trapped in the pit. Xmithie doesn't manage to land the next kill. His Flame is tanking it all. GoldenGlue does land charm, but TL do come down.
Lourlo going for broke. He's trying to get something.
For Cody Sun, but the Shockwave does land back in onto Lourlo. Cody still alive, takes down Lourlo as GoldenGlue gets away with a sliver of health. TL threw everything at Immortals there.
And Flame has TP. They're going to let this minion wave come in. He'll TP to it and keep it alive so that they can get damage on the turret.
All right, this is actually going to be the game-ending push for Immortals. They're going to try it and just silence it all now. Lourlo dead for 40. GoldenGlue dead instantly as he tries to get a prick on somebody. Piglet just can't do much on the cannon. Next to turret's not going to fall. Immortals going to look for a few more kills, but TL had such a big lead, and Immortals force the issue, get to the Baron, and now they'll take the sweep. Looking so good all series long, and they're just playing with their food right now.
Yeah, Immortals just toying around. KDA players looking for more.
All right, one more left. There's the kill. Piglet goes down. The Nexus explodes. Trying to get those deaths up a little higher. Piglet has been so good at not dying. Immortals
having none of that.
Gonna make it one more.
Exactly. Immortals move to 3-1 as well, and 4-1, and keep themselves at the top of the standings.
Like I said,
that's big.
Trying to break that big four-way tie. They'll be the first to break it as TL's momentum halts after winning their last series in week 2. A tough opponent for sure, playing up here against Immortals, and Immortals certainly seem revitalized after that one series loss.
And there was some healthy skepticism about, all right, Immortals started 3-1. How good are they? Because they beat FlyQuest, they beat Phoenix 1, and they took 3 games to do that, but they beat TSM 2-0, and then they lost to Envy. That was something that Pobelter said they learned a lot of lessons from, that they're able to push forward from. And now Immortals fans can start getting excited again about this team, where if Xmithie came in and was like, okay, is this really a good trade? Looks like a great trade for the synergy of this team. Flame is being more of a team player, and they're making the right macro calls. They're making better macro calls as well.
I mean, I think that is actually the last point you mentioned is something that is worth bringing up this series, just because game one, just looking so good. I mean, they played the map when they were ahead, and that is a lot easier to do, but the manner in which they won that game was very impressive. Game 2 was significantly closer in gold, and I actually think TL was set up to take over that game with their split pusher, but maybe some mistakes from them were well capitalized on by Immortals, and they just find a way to end a game that I think they otherwise would have lost.
Yeah, that game ends at 32 minutes when it was pretty much even until that point. They went for the Baron play after they had a few members of TL back, and that was kind of the go for broke because they knew that Flame was going to have TP sooner than Lourlo based off the TP timings. But then Lourlo overstayed, and the punish was really, really what made that play. And I think that Immortals deserve full credit for the fact that they punished it as hard as they did.
Certainly do. And to break down how Immortals took the series 2-0, let's send it back to Dash and Jat.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. A heck of a lot more fight out of Team Liquid here in Game 2, although it does not net them the victory, and therefore Immortals in the 2-0 sweep here on Friday evening. Let's dive into Champion Select, though, because Team Liquid did make a number of adjustments from Game 1 to Game 2, most notably Fiora for Lourlo, giving him carry v carry as opposed to tank v carry.
Yeah, and not only do they give the Fiora to Lourlo, they also bait Immortals into a non-ideal matchup. So the first pick Kennen makes you think it's going to Lourlo, obviously, because we don't expect Piglet to play Kennen.
He's not reckless.
Exactly. So. And Jarvan is actually good into Kennen, which is why we saw the Jarvan. And then Fiora, we saw Lourlo had plenty of opportunities to do that. The problem there is it's actually a complete 180 for Team Liquid, because first game, they picked the Kog'Maw first. They're going to do everything around Piglet.
Right.
Here, they're actually putting him at a deficit because they're going into Caitlyn with the Kennen, which is a non-ideal pick in that matchup, and they need to get a big win out of Lourlo. That being said, it was a lot closer, so I like this strategy more.
Yeah.
They just didn't execute in the end.
Absolutely. We saw Xmithie, or not Xmithie, we saw ReignOver putting attention to the top lane, getting first turret even for Lourlo, and building that CS advantage. But while they have an advantage in that lane, we saw Pobelter and Cody Sun building like advantages in both of their lanes. But as you mentioned, this game was a lot closer, and I want to look at two key plays throughout this game. First one, Team Liquid focused. Off of a one fight for them, no decisions made.
Yeah, and this is also a point in the game where Lourlo has tremendous 1v1 pressure. So he was even setting up a split push, teleports in to try and finish this play. They didn't even need him to teleport in the first place because the rest of this pick, Lourlo doesn't participate whatsoever. But you now kill 2 people and you have 5 people on the map. A team like SKT, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. They'll either actually get the Baron or get a couple kills as you funnel into Baron and never let you recover in pressure. 2 people on Team Liquid recall. They even
GoldenGlue even then stops his recall
and stick around to throw a Q for move speed and then recall again, and they don't even get a turret. You give Team Liquid an inch, they take the inch. They don't do anything else, and that was a huge misplay for Team Liquid in the game because that's actually when they have to transition their pressure.
Exactly. So again, if we're looking at constructive criticism, things that we want them to work on, specifically that, when you do win a fight, when you do have that advantage, push it further. Find ways. What are your tools? What are you going to be able to do to build that gold lead?
They're 25 minutes into the game. They have plenty of damage. The top lane, Fiora, can actually do a lot of damage to Baron. They have complete vision denial over that area. There's just so much that they could have done. And whoever's calling the shots for that team, whether it's Piglet or whether it's ReignOver, they have to step up. I hope it's not ReignOver. He's the one recall. They have to step up and get people to commit to something because they had such a huge edge.
And now let's contrast that with a beautiful call out of Immortals to go for this Baron here. So 27 minutes into the game, 2 Fro plus the Baron. Lourlo is going to get the inhib on this split, but I love this call with the vision play to even start and secure this Baron.
Yeah, and they still had Xmithie's ultimate if ReignOver were to come in to try and zone him out. And they get the Baron, and then it's this big game of cat and mouse because Lourlo's going back into their base. They need to send someone while still threatening. Pobelter plays this beautifully, baiting Matt to try and disrupt his recall and then one-shotting him, and then doesn't even have to burn his flash. Meanwhile, Team Liquid isn't communicating properly to Lourlo when recalls are coming out, so he can't even get away in time. And now we're in this situation. This play goes on for a while where there's a Baron on Immortals. They just got a minor advantage. They eventually chase down Lourlo. They now have 2 kills, and they make the aggressive call to run this all the way up mid lane, get an inhibitor, extend that Baron power play to 6,000 gold, and eventually actually end the game off.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Look at this gold graph, and you can see that as soon as Immortals finds one advantage, they run that advantage from that point to the finish. Whereas Team Liquid, where their spike in the gold graph is, you see it stops immediately there at their highest point, and then only trends downward from that because they gave Immortals the opportunity to find their way back into the game.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of growth with Immortals. I mean, they were actually trending upwards towards the end of last split and didn't make the playoffs with Dardoch. But Xmithie, even though everyone always credits Ahri with the shot calling on COG, was a pretty strong voice for that team. And I actually hear they disagreed on a lot of core issues. So if he's in a place now where he doesn't have that contentious relationship with his support and people are following him, at least early on against the lower tier of the competition in the North American LCS, it's working out really well.
Right. I mean, he stepped up to be a leader, and it seems to be working for him so far. Player of the game is going to go to Pobelter, though. I mean, as we talk about that Baron play specifically, we don't know who called it, but then within the play itself, him to have the presence of mind and kind of that calm air about him to be in the pit and zero out another member in the face of 5 is, I mean, that's pretty sweet to look at.
Exactly. Decisiveness from him in the face of indecisiveness for Team Liquid. And you saw how powerful that can be with Pobelter there. And there weren't too many key moments in this game for Immortals because Team Liquid actually had the control of the driver's seat, something like that, control of the car the whole game.
There you go, yeah.
Finality's
We're in a
working
car,
there
we're
somewhere.
Going in the right direction.
And Immortals swung it back in a few very key moments, and that was Pobelter.
Yeah, so now let's talk about looking forward for both of these teams just a little bit. I mean, we saw, again, improvements from Game 1 to Game 2 for Team Liquid, but tomorrow's opponent, TSM, is no easier an opponent than Immortals. So this is a big weekend for them. What are we looking for then tomorrow out of this squad? Even if it's not the victory, outside of maybe just a little bit more clear decision-making, what are we looking for?
Exactly. So I like the way they did the switch up in the second game of picks and bans. Anytime you can surprise the opponent with something, I really like that, to get at least one very favorable matchup that you can play around, rather than bullying your way into a Kog'Maw pick like they did in Game 1. So I like the second draft from Kane a lot more. From there, just realize that you don't actually have that much to lose. You're losing the games anyway. Make the aggressive call. When you have a close game, go for the advantage, because I think they have capable players to do so.
Yeah, there is something to be said for, in that instance, when you do have the advantage, go to the extreme, right? Test the limits of the team and what we're capable of, because we kind of hate to say it. I got a bad taste in my mouth saying it, but if you're expecting the loss, then you might as well play into the loss with full force, right? All right, now on the side of Immortals, they're playing Cloud9 tomorrow, so a more formidable opponent by a lot of standards. What do you want to see out of them in terms of cleaning up their play and continuing that upward trend and making a case for top 2 in NA?
Yeah, super interesting. More of the same, actually. Okay. Cody Sun, if he can keep getting Caitlyn, that's a big if, right? Just keep doing that, right? Make them stop you from doing that strategy, because that has been working for Immortals. If they deny that, play directly around the top lane. Luckily, they have some pretty big performers in the side lane. Don't expect Pobelter to carry. Keep him on the consistent things that he's been performing with, like the Orianna. And then they're actually set up pretty well, because they seem to have the mid and late game set. They either pick a winning top or bot lane, and they have a chance to win every game.
Right, and I gotta say, while it wasn't integral to the victory here, Olleh is fast becoming one of my favorite support players to watch. With the Morgana that he's still very willing to pick up, it's kind of akin to Afromu having always been willing to jump back onto that pick, but then pulling out the Blitzcrank here, looking for some playmakers and finding ways to accelerate the game for his team. I'm going to continue to be excited to watch his growth throughout the split.
Yeah, hook champions. It's been something that he's been starting with. Morgana, Thresh, Blitz are actually very important right now. Remember, we're still on patch 7.11. Your starting item, if you're not Caitlyn, can still be Dorn Shields and 2 health potions. So if you want to get an advantage in a lane, you need kill pressure. And that comes very well with those skill shot reliant champions. So the meta is very much in his favor right now, even if the Blitz game was a little questionable at times.
Right, that series is tomorrow. We've got another series up tonight. With this one wrapped, we've got more league action coming your way up next.